So I'm hoping to come to collaborate with other people because this is a huge market that needs to be done. The physician that I worked with actually was able to use the app to pass that test. It was just another modality to learn. Some of us are auditory, some are visual. My biggest thing is I come back to Buzztouch to do all sorts of things, but my main focus has always been teaching. I don't know if you guys watched that CNN award with the old lady in the bus. She was 76 years old, young. She just got the bus, and this was a David idea too. But she runs around all through the country, impoverished cities, and teaches them technology. And one of my biggest goals with Developer Diva is to actually get out there with education, with caregivers or whatever, and just teach this stuff. Because I think Buzztouch is an excellent platform. But that's what I'm here for the group. Hopefully we'll collaborate if I could talk.
Ed, you're up next, Ed. Let's see. Are you? Oh, I think I muted you, Ed, because there's also some terrible noise, and I just muted everyone who wasn't muted already. Go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, now I can.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. I'm Ed Reyes. I have my own production studio here in the Valley. I pretty much taught myself everything: 3D animation, computer, and the reason I'm interested in the educators group is because part of my pay it forward is to mentor and train like foster kids, homeless kids, and I have my own nonprofit, and a lot of the stuff that I can offer kids is pretty much a lot of the technology that they don't have access to. You know, whether it's Xcode, I mean, my man cave is, I don't know, out of Iron Man 3. See, I'm Flash today. But, yeah, what I do best is actually come up with courseware, because I used to be an instructor for web design, graphic design, all that stuff. And I pretty much did all that certification training courseware for other, LA-based, private, schools and stuff like that. But I wasn't too sure how this was gonna go. If it's like another online training, a BTU type of extension, or we're actually making apps. So, but what I can bring to the table is my whole knowledge on creating all this educational platform. I've been there, done that. So, and I'm very creative. And,
Yeah, so beautiful.
That's me.
Okay, now we're up to now I'll go through. No, Barry. We have Barry Jones, Red Dog. You can't show your camera, can you, Barry?
Here, I'll turn mine off.
Maybe.
Let's see. And we can see you too. There you are.
Here I am.
We can have 6, David, so you can come back if you want.
I'm in hiding.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so my name is Barry Jones. I work for the Riverside County Office of Education. I'm a networks and systems specialist for them, so I'm not on the education side, but I'm on the IT side of education. And I wanted to join this group, maybe perhaps as the devil's advocate for some of you that are, planning ahead for things that may not be in your best interest IT-wise. I'm not saying I'm limiting, but I know that the way that some of the school districts work out here, at least in California, given that this is a totally different world out here, but different things do apply. I noticed earlier on someone's list, access to Dropbox and things like that, and those are strictly prohibited in most districts here. So, there might be some give and take, some push, some pullback, maybe some questions I can help with, or in that regard. So,
yeah,
that's awesome.
You're actually doing the work. That's cool. Okay, the next person we have is Frederick. I don't know. Let me unmute you, Frederick. Do you have a screen you can share, Fred?
Yeah, hold on. Let me see if I could pull my cam up.
He's in a wedding chalet somewhere.
I'm multitasking. I'm having trouble. Let's
You're
see.
clicking on your Windows keyboard.
Am I here? No.
Nope, we don't see you yet. Oh, there you are.
Good.
Everybody.
Yay.
There you are.
All right. My name is Fred Faracco. I've been teaching for about for about 6 years now. I've taught physics and biology and robotics, biochemistry, biotechnology. Been teaching all sorts of science courses for the past 6 years. And I started developing educational apps as soon as I found Buzztouch about, I don't know, almost 3 years now. And, you know, I have a whole bunch of apps out for mainly for the New York State tests for all the different subjects, mainly high school and middle school. I haven't made any apps for elementary level, but a lot of my apps are usually sold to schools that have all iPads, and I've been working pretty close with them. And the tech guy before had some interesting stuff to say, but you know, I'd like to ask a bunch of questions about that later on. But yeah, I mean, this group I think could be helpful for everyone. I hope we could collaborate ideas and come up with great plugins, and maybe come up with like a, you know, nice educational app store from Buzztouch. There's some great resources out there to distribute educational apps. It's there's a lot out there, and I'd like to learn some more from all of you.
Oh yeah, that's awesome, friend. Okay, so Miguel, we're up to you. Can you show your screen? Oh, maybe you can't talk. You may have gone to bed. It's like midnight there, right? Nick, can you talk, Nick?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. We can't.
Perfect.
You're on a phone, right?
No, actually, the audio magically came back on.
Oh yeah, show your screen then.
Okay. Give me a moment.
No, that's not true, David. David wrote, that's not true, David, what you wrote in the panel. It could be better, but
Be a teacher. It really, there's a lot of room to make some serious improvement.
yeah.
That's
Can
all
you
I'm
see
saying.
me?
Yep.
Nice to meet
Perfect.
you.
Nice to see you all. Thank you for having me. My name is Nicholas Strategopoulos. I'm from Montreal, Montreal Canadiens, big hockey fan.
Dude, I got to interrupt right now. Were you like 15 before you could write your whole name? That is crazy right there. There's like
It took
50
a while.
digits in that name.
It's off the screen, I know. It's a long Greek name.
I love it. I love it.
Cursed. So I graduated from McGill University in physical and health education. Currently, I'm doing my master's studies, my graduate studies in educational technology at Concordia University. So I'm definitely an educator at heart. I first found Buzztouch about 1.5 years ago. I developed my first app on iOS on October 1st, 2012. Since then, I've had about 10 apps out there for both iOS and Android, so it's been exciting. Good feedback from the phys ed community, especially. And why I joined this group? Well, I really see the potential for Buzztouch as for educators, and there's just so much you could do with different plugins and different resources, and I really think it could be beneficial to many educators out there.
Well, you know, also you volunteered to be the chair of this group, which is a huge commitment.
That's it, exactly.
We have a lot of work coming your way. No, just kidding. And
I'm
then,
looking forward to it.
you also just did that PhD level semester you did on which we can actually cover that content here to show everyone what you did there too, right?
Sure.
Okay, and then Smug's on here too. I don't know if you can show your screen again, Smug, so we can see you.
I'm not going to show my screen. Earlier today I was in my living room, which is clean. Now I'm back in my office, which is a total mess. So I'm not going to show it. My name is Alex, although everybody knows me as Smug Limp. And although I'm not an educator, I used to step in from time to time and teach over at our local community college whenever they needed some technical instruction and stuff. And I'm basically a part of the group because every aspect of programming interests me. And although I'm not necessarily an educator by trade, I'd like to be able to help whomever how I can, and so I'm just kind of keeping my ears open and watching what's going on. And that's it for me.
Mm-hmm. All right, thank you, everyone. Well, next thing we have on the agenda is it's kind of a round robin again. We kind of covered it a little bit already, but and maybe instead of a round robin, we could just kind of shout things out. But you know what? And maybe I should be typing too. I'm going to put this into this page right here. There's more ideas, which I need to get to a white text. Sorry about that. So you can see it. Not sure why I picked black, but I always think the Buzztouch logo looks better on black, so I do a lot of things on black. This is what David just typed in the thing. So I picked up what you said, David, and I put it over here on this list. But maybe it's just, if it was just, think about what do you want, think about maybe a year from now, where do you want this group to be? What do you want to have this group have accomplished? I'm not saying we're going to go there, but if we just kind of get those thoughts out there, then it'd be cool. And then we'll do more brainstorming too, but this is just more like beginning with the end in mind. So go ahead. Go ahead, anyone. I'm typing.
I have a question for those that have already talked to the institutes, and I don't know how to phrase this or what. My biggest challenge is how do you make that initial contact and start talking to some of these establishments? Do you just cold call them? Maybe if we could get some people who have already worked with the institutions.
Sherry, I'm going to redirect you a little bit, Sherry. I'm going to change that to because we're talking about the vision for the future. I'm going to change that as maybe part of the vision of the group is that we learn more about how to reach out to educational institutions to sell apps to them.
Fantastic. Thank you.
I've got one little remark in terms of a long-term idea, like starting at the end. It's from my experience, and again, not ever working for an institution or whatever, but from my experience, it's very, very difficult to provide software to a school for any reason, for free or otherwise. Whether it costs money, whether you give it to them, whatever. And in fact, some cases it's easier if you're a commercial operation, you want to sell them something with a contract and a statement of work, and because there's a preformed path that you need to follow. Whether you get the contract or not is a different question. But I've had lots of times where I literally want to give them something that I think will help them, that they think will help them, that they're not allowed to use because it's open source or because it's this or because it's that. So what I envision, what I would like to see down the road is schools just use this to teach their mobile development courses, period. So that's the end goal, but how we get there is very, very challenging because of these reasons that we already know and that are kind of rooted in technical problems, like what it does and how it does it, but also because of maybe the way that it's distributed and licensed and all that kind of stuff. And so I'm not interested in just selling into schools necessarily, but we might have to have a cost to make it easier to get it into the school, even if it's, you know, $500 or something. I get really, really frustrated as a parent and as a student, different reasons, but as a parent, I see our school district spending, you know, 80 grand on a power school student information system, which is a joke to me. But that's the kind of contracts that they're forced to have, because those are the alternatives. If you go to the ed tech, you know, trade show, you've got 400 vendors selling crazy wares to these schools. So anyway, so I get frustrated with that because I'm sure that there's better alternatives that are a whole lot less money. So that's my motive. So I want to be able to just say, use this. It's easy. It's awesome. It's the best, and it doesn't cost you a bunch. That's my goal. But it has to be easy and the best and not cost a bunch. It has to be true.
Okay, easy, best, not cost a bunch. and cheap. Inexpensive, better word than cheap.
And again, I think that's rooted in this kind of freestyle openness that we all embrace. That if you're a teacher, it's just like, what are you talking about? What do you mean I got to go to this community and download this thing? And I don't do it. They just want somebody to do it for them almost, right? But now the costs start going up. So there's a weird issue there that is hard to solve. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, it's making a curriculum, right, David? It's making a curriculum. I mean, it's making a curriculum that you can that the teacher would use for teaching their class, right?
I think the curriculum's part of it, but I mean, ultimately, I'd love to see teachers sharing curriculum. I'm talking about the platform that they use in the classroom to demonstrate and to educate how this process works. How do you make an app? How do you distribute an app? Where's the information come from? Where's the data go? All these kinds of concepts. And I'm the teacher, and we can all work on a project together. We can work on individual projects. I can see all the projects and grade them, whatever teachers do that they can't now do unless they're really patient and really enthusiastic, right? Which a lot of you guys are. You've tried to do that in the classroom, and which is awesome. But boy, I can imagine half the class time jerking around with technology when it should be 2 minutes of the 50 minutes. You know, turn it on and go and teach. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Another aspect that that I ran into as an educator is what's called train the trainer.
Mm-hmm.
And instead of just using the software right to the software, what about that aspect? It's just going, could we develop something like that? That's something that's always bounced about. I don't know.
Well, that's what Nick's class was on, right? That's what I gathered from your thing. Was teaching educators how to use Buzztouch, right?
In essence, yeah, that was exactly it.
Kind of in a nutshell, but yeah. So there'd be a tools for that. So actually, we kind of have a long ways. Actually, we're farthest along on that front because we can use what you already did, right? If you let us use it. Yeah.
Yep.
Anything else to add, Fred? What do you think? I'm calling on you, Fred. Oh, did I mute you? Oh, I muted you, Fred. Sorry, you had a background noise. I muted you. Sorry.
You muted me again.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. I'm just
doing an echo.
Yeah, I mean, ideally, the whole reason why I started making apps was really for the student itself, really for my students. You know, if you look around at all these students, every second they get, they're not allowed to have cell phones in school. Some schools do, but every second they get, they take out their cell phone, they're playing with some app, and the idea of educational apps for me was, how can I get these students to, let's say, practice or reinforce certain concepts, right on their phone, even if it's just for a little bit, even if it's just like 10 to 15 minutes, and then trying to make it a friendly environment so they want to go on there. I mean, not an extremely social environment, but something that's helpful, especially, I mean, for middle and high school students. I mean, that's all they do. They're all over their phones. And I know in the elementary level, parents that can afford it, especially special education students, using the iPad is like an extremely powerful tool for these kids because it's interactive, it's visual. There's all different learning styles for those type of students, like especially autistic students, using the iPad and using educational apps. And I've gotten all sorts of feedback that made me alter certain apps in a way to help just individual students. So I don't know how to put that in a few bullet points, but just helping each individual student in their special way would be ideal.
Oh yeah, I'm going to add a third one then from what you said, Fred. I'm going to say it's like making apps that adjust to what the student's expertise is.
Yeah.
You hit on that App Store thing for students, Fred. The one thing that I've always thought would be really, really cool, again, you've got to have this longer-term idea in mind if it becomes, it's ubiquitous enough. I mean, how awesome would it be that kids are making apps for other kids? I mean, the whole point is, if I can log into the system and make a goofy little math app, because I like math, and some kid in New York can screw around with it or whatever, how awesome is that? Rather, somebody can make a stupid little history app. I say stupid little meaning it's not about making apps to make money and to put in the Apple App Store. It's just a system that, hey, lets people learn and explore and play with their phones in an appropriate way, and what they're playing with are things that are made by other kids. And kids is a relative word. It could be college students, it could be teachers, but in the education world, look what we're learning, look what we're making, and look what we're gaining by playing with these things. That's kind of an idea.
Barry, can I call on you too?
Yeah, okay.
Sure. The only thing I'd add to that, especially with the previous question about getting into schools with your apps, it's a good thing to keep in mind that with the Common Core standards, or some states call it Smarter Balanced, starting next April, it's federally mandated that all their all the students' testing is going to be online. It has to be on a mobile device, but it has screen size. So none of the school districts out here, no one is purchasing iPod Touches or iPhones or anything that small or any of the Android devices of that size. Everyone's going to the iPad or something similar to that size because of the screen sizes required by the federal government. So it might behoove some people to start, if they haven't already, start publishing for iPad.
Oh yeah, that's good.
Larger
Good point. Yeah.
Great point.
Yeah.
Great point.
Okay. Okay, let's go back to our agenda.
Also, as far as we're concerned out here, as far as getting into the schools, you're going to have a credit check and all that good stuff. You're going to have to get on the preferred vendor lists and all that kind of good things. So, a lot of give and take there.
Yeah. What about replacing textbooks? Oh, Ed's raising his hand. What are we going to say, Ed? Go ahead.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can.
Okay, so this is my take on the whole thing about education and learning and doing the apps. What I've been able to do in the past is convert my living room into like a mini classroom. And I know when, you know, whether trying to train the trainers or the parents or the kids, you know, it's that technology hurdle that stumps a lot of people. So when we're getting into app making and it's iOS or Android, I think I spoke to Steve about this, that after December, I'm putting together a learning center to actually invite kids over to build apps on the Android platform first, because then it can get published to the Play Store, and there's some sort of accomplishment when they do that, because then the hurdle of having Xcode and a Mac and all this other stuff, that could be like phase 2. But what I've experienced is that trying to get it into the school system, well, I've been able to just network with a lot of the parents that homeschool their kids, you know, that they love that type of extracurriculum type of thing. One summer I was teaching game development and Photoshop, you know, and it's one of those things where the parents will pay for that education that's not being provided by the school, or that's not being into that common course thing that, who was it? Barry was talking about. But as like moving forward, and what I can see is, you know, develop something that is kind of turnkey for all of us that are in different states, that we come up with something that Nick started, you know, and I can assist in what I've already been planning as far as a syllabus to get what I'm learning from Buzztouch to master the Android to the Xcode, and then have parents involved in the learning process, because they're the ones that are going to spend for the technology that will eventually the kids will use. And then the kids will teach the parents, hey, Mom, you know, I can build an app, you know. I mean, we got Thomas, 13, building apps. I'm like, holy crap. I mean, my nephew is 12, and he built a Boy Scout app, but I didn't tell him about Buzztouch because he was already ahead of me and stuff like that. But, you know, his thing with the Boy Scouts is he's already Eagle Scout in no time. So he wants to, like, produce apps so that all the international Boy Scout communities can communicate together and stuff like that. You know, great, but it's just that learning curve of breaking it down where, you know, again, these educational apps can come in handy. But as far as getting it into the schools, here in LA, you know, we had, I guess, the schools, unified schools, give out iPads, and then a week later they got hacked into by the kids. They were able to hack the iPad. So pretty much, you know, I don't know how they can build apps on the iPad, but they can definitely download it, you know. But yeah, I think if we can develop this into something that's turnkey, that all of us as part of this group can say, hey, I'm in New York and this is what we want to duplicate out here because we started it in California. Make sense?
Yep. Love it.
Yeah.
Love it.
Anyone else want to add to this? Okay, so now
I could say something if you mind.
Oh yeah, sure. Sorry, dude. Didn't mean to cut you off.
One of the things, I don't know if this is completely on topic, but my old community college, we had a design class, and the goal of the class was to design an app. And what was great about it is kind of what Ed was touching on, bringing it to the real world and making students excited because they see it live, they see it on there. What the instructor did for this class is the goal was to design an app for the entire semester. So you just work on an app and you design it. You make screens like plugins in Photoshop, and you just make several screens, and then you connect those screens, and that's how your app is going to look like. But the fun part was that the instructor at the end of the semester would connect these students that made all these designs, and he would connect them to all of the IT department students. And then he coincided with the instructors in the IT department to take the designs to match upon the student that's designing the app and to match upon the student that's coding the app. And they would work together, and the final project was to submit it to Apple and get it live. So obviously Ed's idea was a little bit better, go with Eclipse because you have less hurdles to do. In this case, the school did have Xcode and did have Mac, so those were available. To where it's not available, Eclipse would make more sense. But the cool part is that the goal of the whole entire course was to make an app and get it live out there, which I think would make students really excited to go on further. You know, it would be pretty awesome to tell your parents, you know, hey, go on your iPhone and look this up, I made it.
You know, one thing that I hear too, that someone typed in the comments, oh, app code camp for students, boy, I can't keep up. But someone typed in the comments about the new computer science. Which one I want to comment on? I forgot.
Yeah, that was me.
I lost track.
That was me.
That once, but the app code camp for students. Okay.
Yeah, that's the one I was going to put in the bus and disappear for a year and drive around.
Yeah.
Just laugh. Remember, you guys haven't seen the Buzz Bus? Get that rig out.
Oh yeah, you want me to share a screen spot?
I'm telling you,
that is going to happen. That is going to happen. I would get my ass out of here for a year and go have a good time.
It has to happen.
Spread some goodwill. You know, show some love. Rig that thing up and show people how to do it.
Did you see the CNN, that link? I thought I gave you the link, David.
There's been a bunch of them now. There's all kinds of like mobile, like let's go, you know, do well by doing good kind of thing, you know, and so it's great. And that's, if you guys don't know, for those of you who don't know me very well, I am the epitome of like backpack guy. Like, I could fit everything I own in a you know, 2-seat car. So I just, you know, that's the way I roll. And one of these days, you know, I'll get to be able to do that. And so, of course, the balance for me is trying to figure out how to make a living and support this concept that I have, and of course, raise kids and all this kind of stuff. But no, I would love to be able to kind of take the show on the road, so to speak. But that doesn't accomplish a lot. 90% of the stuff on that list that we just talked about has nothing to do with that. I mean, you're only going to get so much out of a weekend, out of a week, out of a hangout, out of a code camp. You need to do this for a semester, for a year. I mean, you really do need to spend some time at it. But it's a good place to get introduced to it, in my mind. So that's a tangent.
Buzztouch is perfect for the computer science curriculum, too, because it gets people exposed to coding so they have early successes while they're getting exposed to development.
Yep.
Okay, anything else on this? This is kind of the vision part of it. I'm gonna have to come back and organize this kind of mess I'm making in my slideshow, but this kind of the vision part of it. Anything else to add to that, Nick, or to wrap us up, or on this topic? Here's our agenda again.
I mean, there were a lot of good ideas. I don't think I have anything else to add. We covered a lot of ground in that.
Yeah. Well, actually, we have a lot, because look, this is ideas that came out in the forum. We had a forum post that started this. It's kind of a long list. There's some duplication, but not that much duplication in this list.
No.
I don't know. Well, we're kind of at times, you know, flying away from us here, but maybe we should go through this really quickly. You know, the Google Drive access and the Dropbox access, that's important to John, who lives in the UK, who's a teacher. He actually has taught a class in using Buzztouch. Or no, he taught with a different app builder. He's switching his curriculum to Buzztouch right now. So the time of day is not good for him, but I think he'll be involved going forward. But that was something he needed, was Google Drive and Dropbox access. But now, just like Barry said, we can't do that in California. So we need flexible solutions, right?
Yeah, I guess it's very it depends on where you are. But like here in Canada, I don't think there's any restrictions on Google Drive or Dropbox access as long as it's regulated well with students. And that type of plugin would be useful not just for educators, but for anyone on Buzztouch to use and incorporate in their apps.
Right. I think regionally you're going to find different rules about that stuff, and from a development and an engineering perspective, you just have to make some choices about allow Dropbox or whatever. The one thing that I want to make sure that we don't get away from while we have these conversations, and what reminded me of it was, Sue just said there was a guy in the UK or whatever teaching with some other platform or something. Well, I believe strongly that one of the cool things about what we all do is we're not trying to hide what's really going on when you're making an app. We're not trying to say use our platform and our system and kind of direct you down a path that's specific to a platform, if you will. Right? We want you to see Objective-C, we want you to see Java, we want you to see what an actual project looks like and understand that, versus here, use this control panel and have an end result. We got to see what goes on in between, and then we got to see what, how to change it and adjust it and all that kind of stuff. Because what you can't have, in my mind, is you can't be teaching something that contradicts what everybody else in the world's teaching. And when you read a textbook about iOS, or you read a textbook about Java, or you read a textbook about mobile, and then you jump into a control panel from some vendor, if you want to call us a vendor, if all that stuff is hidden and abstracted, I just don't think that's a good idea. Right? So that's one of our strengths, is we're saying, look, this is how it really works. And we're trying to make that easier. Yeah, it's hard. There's a lot of nerd that needs to be involved. You got to add, you got to add some enthusiasm, because it's a very technical thing we're doing here. But I don't want us to see ourselves as this educator group. I don't want to work to hide what's actually happening, is all I'm saying. I think it's really important that kids or learners, old or young, get it, right? Because when Apple changes the rules, when Google changes the rules, when the whole system changes, you'll be better off knowing that, okay, it's just there's some new changes or whatever. And I think I'm communicating what I'm wanting to say, but I'm not sure. So.
Well, I think just kind of trying to, it's kind of a lot of different things going on here, but I think at the very end, so maybe we'll say at the top of the hour, we'll switch over and talk about what is the mission and scope of this group. What are we try to organize some of this, or at least start to organize where we're going with this and how we're going to approach it, maybe. So if we do that at the top of the hour, how does that sound as a plan? Then other than that, we'll just stick with our agenda and keep looking at these ideas, see what we have so far, and then see if we can add to this list. We already kind of added, well, the vision had some pieces of specific things too I can add to this list. The next set of things, 3 guesses where they came from: bracket maker, scoreboard, random teams with a simple shake. That came from Gracious Wolf PE, the PE teacher.
Yeah.
But they're very specific things, And I think there's a big category of things to make life easier for teachers that aren't even, it's not about the kids. It's just about helping the teacher. The kids don't access it. Maybe the teacher does. Okay.
So I have a question with the contribute, with the list of ideas and so forth, and how we're going to contribute with one another. Are we going to announce this to the whole forum, or are we going to contribute? Because there's a lot of these things that are in the works or already out in the plugin market. How are we going to go ahead and organize that in a package to each other to help one another? Or I guess, what is the mission on that?
Yeah, is it free or is it paid?
Yeah, I think one part of the mission is a set of plugins that are helpful for education. We'll see what there might be one set of things that we do.
We could set up a website that has all the plugins and stuff that we make.
Yeah. Oh, like a web page for teachers to get started with Buzztouch. Yeah.
That too. Yeah, that too.
Are those plugins free or paid?
I think they ought to be free. That's my 2 cents.
Absolutely.
I think it'd be
for education.
There might be times down the road where, there's some justification for saying, look, that didn't work. But I think it's going to be much more difficult to make the claim that you're trying to help people and make money, right? I mean, I don't think anybody in this group is in this group literally and directly to make money. Obviously, we have livings we want to make, and if you're selling apps, that's fine. If you're doing all this stuff, that's fine. But I don't think we're hanging out here on an afternoon here in California to talk about making $8. Right, I'll give you $8 if that's what you want. You know what I'm saying? So, I told Ed's like, okay. So I think it's about. I think maybe down the road that might change, right? I can imagine all different kinds of things where people in this group and outside of this group might be able to profit from what we do, what we figure out. Maybe you go into a school and help them integrate it. Maybe who knows? all kinds of things.
Yeah. Well, some things on this list are clearly plugins. Like some of mine, the flashcards, fill in the blanks, matching game, the coloring pages. Those are things that are more put the list in order. Those are more these are plugins that would make apps better, give us more tools for making apps for students. That's like another set of things that we're seeing here. And then we go back to this kind of set of things of communication with instructors, instructors to students, students. Oh, I have two of the same one here. Instructor to instructor, student to student. So it's like the communication, using apps for communication. That's actually nice. That's kind of another different set of things here too. Another tool for teachers, printing certificates, video live
What
streaming.
is the certificate printing thing? Is that like an accomplishment deal? Like you've gotten through level 1 or something? What is that all about? A certificate. What do you mean printing certificates?
People like their certificates, David. They really do. I know you're in California and paper's not a big deal.
No. What kind of certificate are you talking about?
You finished the
Just
class.
like a PDF that prints it out. CEUs, continuing education. A lot of like for my nursing, that's my little niche or whatever. A lot of these nursing things need continuing education, so they need a piece of paper to say, hey, I went through this.
Stamp it on their head and move on. So you want to give them a printout.
Good luck with that.
I'm asking very literally. Are you looking for a way to print out a congratulations, you finished this section kind of thing?
Yeah, they have that.
Okay, and that does make sense for learners to document what they've learned. I get all that. I didn't understand printing certificates.
Well, I
I'm
think
a
we
nerd.
should. Well, it's like
I was like, what are you talking about?
let's change this to positive reinforcement, because like if you guys done Code Academy, they're very good at positive reinforcement. Every time you finish a section, you get a notice. Hi, congratulations, you finished this section. So it's like tools for positive reinforcement. We've been a little more
You
general.
get a badge from them, right?
Pardon?
Like a little star from the Buzztouch U.
Yeah, the stars meant to lots of people. I mean, it really is true.
Yeah.
Okay. Online testing and quizzes. Oh boy, some of them are hard. But like we do actually have quite a bit of framework already with our ability to track people's performance on quizzes and track that in SQL, right, David? Like if kids did quizzes from their iPad, we could actually, I think we probably could do it already. Is track the results.
We have a stupid scale, if that's what you're asking me, or a smart scale. No, the whole BTU thing was again tangent, not intentional, but it is related to this.
Yeah.
The whole BTU thing was an idea, kind of a concept that got out of hand, and we weren't really equipped to create the high enough quality content that it really needs.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you've got high quality content, and you've got high quality learning going on, this is my opinion, then yeah, it's justifiable. So it was a little bit of an ambitious, like, hey, let's just make these videos. So it's kind of cool, and yeah, there's some learning going on, but there's also a whole lot of not learning going on, right? And so people got excited about the stars, and which was cool, but now there's this weird, like, okay, if we take it down, then it's going to be pitchforks, but if we leave it up, now we got to take care of it, right? And so this group, maybe this is the perfect group to say, how should that work?
Mm-hmm.
There's all different kinds of ways that you can duplicate what other learning environments are doing, and that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
And there's all kinds of ways that you can do it better or faster. I'm totally open to all that stuff. I mean, we can burn that university down and build a new one, right? It doesn't matter. So Ed's going, yeah, cool. But we just can't really do that, with a push of a button. We got to think a little bit more than I usually think, right? I don't think about anything. I just do. And now we've ended up in certain.
Yeah, but David, I would say that was secondary to this group, because I'd say that I'd say that the first what I'm saying is the first part of the group is to meet the needs of teachers and the classroom and educational things. And by the way, at Buzztouch, if we can do this group, we should be able to use our own tools to make our own training program.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
Maybe a secondary thing,
Maybe that's at the top of the list. Let's make a tool that allows us to make content, because somebody's going to want to do that.
Yeah, and if we had a good BTU, then the students could use, then the part of the curriculum could be, go do BTU, show me your stars when you're done,
Yep.
So
I'm hearing crickets again.
Yeah, I'm hearing crickets. What the heck?
All right.
Thomas
I
has got up at 2 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
I just like to put in my few cents. I think the way to really improve the Buzztouch U is to get other users to do a section which they're in. Like, for example, David and I recommended this to David, but the topic came up a year ago, and I've still got the notes. Meetup 2, so that was October last year. You said
He's shaming me right now. Just so y'all know, he's shaming me right now.
David said, like, we've got to get this Buzztouch U updated, and
Yep.
and just after Buzz Day, I sent him an email. Like, should I do some self-hosted Buzztouch U things? I've done the second one.
He sent me a bunch of cool stuff, by the way.
I've sent the first one off to David, and he's in the middle of processing that. And when I get all of mine, I'll just send them off to him, and then he'll do all the handiwork. I hope.
Magic.
Yeah. So I mean, that's what I would say. Like, get other people to make a topic, and they could even be recordings of these webinars and meetings that we're having. You know. Just a thought.
No, it's a fantastic thought. And when we first conceptualized this, we were really on the, first off, it wasn't we, it was me, right? And I was really on the fence of trying to say, like, do we want, my dog and I, do we want people to make content early on, or do I want to do it myself? You know, do I want to try to shape this and blah, blah, blah. So some of the stuff, certainly it was, yeah, let's let people make things. And the other stuff was like, no, I don't want 50 different voices trying to teach a concept. And so, but now here we are a year later, like Thomas said, and it might be time to reconsider that idea and say, look, if you've made some learning content, put it in this bucket, this group of educators that we all hang out once or twice a month, or whatever, we're going to put them in the appropriate categories, and that's going to be done. And that would be fantastic. And so if you just describe really well what content is, like it's a video and it's a set of questions or whatever the rules are, people will absolutely do that.
Yeah.
And so maybe it is time to do that. Clearly what we're doing is not working.
I wrote down,
Right.
can we crowdsource the training, you know, so that we just let everyone has their,
Sure.
just, and you have reviews and you have ratings, and then someone else posts and says, well, do this, and this, and then there's the one that teachers recommend for junior high students, and who knows, I don't know, a set.
No, I'm just saying that I love the idea. I just know that every single decision that we make, because of the scale and the volume of all this, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work to put this stuff together. So it's good that we're thinking about it and talking about it, getting it on paper, so we can really rationalize. Okay, we're going to spend the 2 weeks to do this. That kind of thing.
Well, and sometimes they're better done by individuals, and sometimes they're better done by groups. And
Totally.
so we have to really be very cognizant of that. So I think I can see Nick and I kind of working on framing some of this up in between meetings. And then we also like to say if someone, this group said they want to take on developing an entire curriculum, that would probably be a subgroup. And then when you develop that curriculum, is the curriculum general BT users, or is it curriculum for junior high students, or for high school students, or for, what is the curriculum? You know, you target it to a specific audience. That could be a subgroup that takes that on. You know, I don't know. We'll see what happens.
Well, what I've done in the past before in doing online curriculums with other instructors is that we created a portal where each instructor, whether they're doing, you know, Microsoft certification, SQL training, or web design, each instructor had their own method of teaching. So what we did, we created like this outline of like these faces and all the instructors are teaching web design and what their own methods of teaching are, because the end goal is going to be the same. You're going to learn the same HTML, you're going to learn the same Photoshop. It's just the method of getting there is different, right? So, you know, what worked for us in the past is that people gravitate towards a certain learning style. If it's more coding, then they go there. If it's more visual, then they go to that instructor. But again, the end goal is the same. So whether we reconstruct the BTU and see, okay, here's Danny, here's Chris, here's David, you know, all their methods of accomplishing one thing. But here's Smug, and he's all about Android and coding, then we put that in that person's profile. That if you want to learn stuff that Smug already created as learning tools, click on this person, and he's got this list of stuff that he can download as a PDF. We can make it into a quiz, and then, great, you accomplished that. Here's your certificate. But I'd say the BTU is going to expand into something better than just what we have now. It should be, let's take all the experts that are the seasoned plugin guys, or developers, and put them up there because they're the ones that are mostly sharing a lot of the stuff for the newbies. But again, with the forums, it's so hard to search for something that, oh man, I saw that code a long time ago. Where is that? I think David, Mr. D up there, touched on that before in one of the posts, that you saw something and, something like that. But I'm thinking that's for BTU, for it to go to that next level, it should be like, take the experts on what they do, put it up there, bunch of educators, so it's not just one person learning from that one person. Does that make sense?
Yeah, well said. Well said.
That's a good idea. So would the BTU market be like, the BTU, could it be a lot like the plugin market where everybody or a select group of people are allowed to submit content, and then if people are worried about different content not being good or confusing people more, have a rating system a lot like the plugins where the good content will go up and the bad content will kind of stay below?
That's exactly the way I'm hearing this.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I've done before, is that the students would rate the instructor based on, their experience and, who offers what, and then that instructors get more students the next semester. But here, because there's so much in the how-tos, just to dissect everyone's stuff, if we categorize that based on, well, here's all of Northwest's stuff, and here's all of Niraj's stuff, then we can follow his method of thought in teaching and what he wants to get across.
Pick your guru.
Huh?
Pick your guru.
Yeah, exactly. And then if there's like, just like on the plugin market, if they want to hire them for private training or whatever.
Totally.
That's good too.
Yep. Yeah. Good idea.
You guys ready to tackle our mission and scope here?
Let's do it.
Our mission is to keep David in a backpack in a sailboat.
Which David?
Yeah.
Both Davids.
And the mission is a little different than our tactics. So we might decide to work on plugins first, or decide to work on a curriculum first, or maybe it really depends on what the group's willing to work on, because this is a group of volunteers, right? So people are kind of volunteering to be here. So what people want to work on and contribute is what will drive what gets worked on first. But I do think it'd be good to have like a mission for what our objectives here. I think Nick and I threw this together. Buzztouch Educators is a group of Buzztouch members who are working together to foster the use of mobile in education and to support educators using mobile.
That's good. Good.
What's it missing?
It's
Mobile
missing
apps.
some zing to it, but it's good.
My what?
It's missing some zing to it, but it's good.
Zing.
Zing.
By the way,
Well,
this is completely off topic, but when I joined about 15 minutes ago, I was still sending an update out to one of my Woodstock app, and I've just got an email from Apple saying that it's now in review.
Oh,
Wow. Dude, you got juice. You got juice.
Completely off topic, but I mean, probably in about
That's pretty
15
cool.
minutes.
you got
it's
put on
now
the
in
fast
review.
track. That's cool. Wow. Jeez.
Takes me like 9 days.
You're Harry Potter, dude. When you roll like Harry Potter, good shit happens.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's crazy. Good stuff.
That is crazy. I got an email this morning from another member who said, "How come it's been in for 2 weeks and I haven't got it reviewed yet?"
Oh boy.
I don't know. Call Thomas in the UK. He's got
Yeah.
he's a friend or
Got
something.
connections.
Yeah, dude.
Send it through mine. Yeah, exactly.
He's got major hookups, and I gotta give one last shout out because I'm gonna sneak out of here, you guys. But I gotta give one last shout out to Thomas. For those of you who don't know him very well, you're gonna be amazed the more you do get to know him. This guy, what is it, 2 o'clock in the morning there?
At the moment, it's just about to tick midnight.
Like on a school night or whatever, you're like up doing your homework, and
So obviously a young man, obviously brilliant, and we appreciate him a great deal. I just want you guys to know that he's
To be
he's
honest,
somebody to pay
David.
attention to. That's all I'm
David,
saying.
I feel more sorry for Miguel because it's 1 o'clock in the morning for Miguel. In fact, you can hear my bells now going. But it's 1 o'clock in the morning for Miguel, and I can see that he's on
It's
the.
not just that it's 1 in the morning that I'm so in love with you, dude. You're just a badass, and I want everybody to know that. So, anyways, that's all I'm saying.
Oh wait, hang on, Portugal. No, hang on.
Hey, I'm gonna get out of here.
Portugal's got the same time zone.
I've got a
Never mind.
4:05. I've got a 4:05. So I'm sure you guys are gonna finish this up or whatever. Super happy to be involved in like listening and paying attention and obviously trying to help. And thanks. Right, I got to roll. So take care, everyone.
See you, David.
Take care.
Bye.
We probably should try to wrap this up too, but so can you live with this as a draft for now, or what's
Susan, do you want to make it support educators using mobile apps to give the idea that it's applications that we're working with?
But it's also curriculum too.
Or is it too much?
No, it's not. Let's think about it because each word is important in an administration. But how about mobile apps and curriculum?
Sure. I just wanted to have the idea that we're working with mobile apps and maybe not just mobile websites.
Oh, you're right.
Because that's what I was thinking of when I read it.
Yeah. And mobile app curriculum. So using mobile apps and okay, I have to read the thing. There's a mobile education. Maybe the apps goes here.
Yeah.
Education.
Or you could combine working together to foster and support educators using mobile apps in education.
Combine what? Okay.
Instead of take off the use of mobile apps in education and instead include together foster and support educators.
There you go.
Less repetitive.
Yeah, there we go.
And support educators using mobile apps. So,
Sorry, I think I got it there. Well, we'll wordsmith this offline, but in education, I got extra word now too.
So moving forward with a lot of this stuff from the other page, a lot of it, whether it's video and all that other stuff, that's resource intensive. So is Buzztouch going to shoulder all that and host everything that this group is going to do?
Well, right now I made a website on my own server, not the Buzztouch one. So eventually I'd like to move it to the Buzztouch one when we get a little farther along. But I haven't talked to David about that yet. So for now it'll just be me putting it into my own. It's kind of weird. I might just buy a different domain that's Buzztouch Educators or something, so it's not on my own domain. It's just kind of weird. So it looks a little better. Because I'm not sure. I just hate to ask David for one more thing because we have so much going on. So that's why I hesitate to know when Buzztouch will put this. But the beauty of having it on a website, then if we have I haven't done it yet, but we can take Nick's work if he's willing to share it, and we could put that up on the website. Or if someone has a curriculum, we can start posting things. Let me show you what I did with this is still on my own website, sadly, but I'm gonna go here. White Buffalo. This is my personal server here. I have my own company too. Okay. Oh no, I have to go. Sorry, I have to do one more thing here. I have to go to mobile. Oh, I know a better way to get here. Just a second. I'm going to go here. That way you'll see how to get here. If you go to how-tos, then I have a website here it's a localization website. So it looks like our website, right? So I just copied it. But this is all translated strings for people. So what I did is I collected all these strings and put this out there so we'd have a resource. So where I'm going with the website for this is that this will look like this for the short run. I didn't do a lot of work on the CSS because this eventually be in the Buzztouch CSS, right? But it was a year later and it's still not in the Buzztouch CSS. So I made one that's called, I'll probably should make a folder for it, but it's BT Ed. So we'll have a place to put things now and, share. Here's our kickoff meeting. Here's our meeting link. It's always the same meeting link every time. But I could put the next meeting up on this if you want to bookmark it. And then, Nick, you and I should connect. Maybe we should just go ahead and buy a domain. They only cost like $12 a year. It's so cheap. That would be, then we'd have it. That way we have it on our own domain that you and I can both access and post things onto. And then,
sounds good.
And then there's one thing we can do right now is share resources. What everyone wants Buzztouch to do is to like invest all this money and get this really beautiful Buzztouch University thing done, and that takes a lot of money and a lot of resources that Buzztouch doesn't have. So we kind of are working with the community to try to see what we can do.
So moving forward, is it going to be a sponsor type thing or donation type thing to support this new project?
No, I'll just buy the domain myself. It's only cost, and then I'll just put it on my hosting, so it'll be free. It's already covered.
I mean, bandwidth and usability wise.
Well, I can't. I would love to have the problem that we had so many hits that I would have to increase my hosting. That'd be a great problem. I'd be very happy. But it's really it's like negligible, the costs of doing this part of it, and to put a lot of links in. It's negligible from the hosting perspective. I'd love it that if we had so many things up there that we had to. Well, if it gets too big, then we just have to talk to David. It has to come into the Buzztouch stuff. David's running huge giant servers already, whereas I'm not in my home business. Does that sound right? Or
If it's a offsite of Buzztouch, is it going to be anyone can register, or do they have to be part of the Buzztouch membership already?
Oh, I'm glad you brought that up. I'm going to put a secret code in here. So if everyone here I think is already a member, right? But if you know of any teachers for BT, that's a promo code I'm putting in the thing there, teachers for BT, and I'll put also it expires on 12/11. And there's other promo codes out there, but this is better than the other promo codes out there right now. So it'll be $20 off a Buzztouch membership. So if you know any teachers that you want to get signed up, that's $20 off instead of the usual price of $80. It's only $60. So that's one thing that I can get out to you.
Susan, you do just realize that you just did that on the recording.
No, I did it on the recording. Shoot, I was supposed to turn off the recording before I said that. Oh no. Oh, turn it off now. I turned off the recording a while back. The recording's off. The recording was off.
It says down here this session is being recorded.
That was, but I turned it off. I just turned it off after an hour because if it's more than an hour, I can't get it loaded up to YouTube. It's a big fight getting it to YouTube. It kind of works sometimes, and then the voice gets farther and farther from the video. It just works better since I started cutting it off after an hour. But yeah, so it's turned off. But
no, I totally agree. YouTube.
Yeah, don't post it on the forum either, because we want people to pay for their memberships, but
as far as training material coming out of David's camp, do we know what's already in the pipeline that they're already working on, so no one that wants to do like what Thomas is doing is like overlapping?
Well, the big thing coming up that there's a couple of reasons why, and this just to you guys, we're not recording, and so please don't go blabbering this all over the forum, but this somewhat is a known thing that Buzztouch is working on a new product for effective January 1st is the goal. We'll see if we make it or not. That will make Buzztouch a lot easier. You won't need Xcode or Eclipse. So, so that changes the nature of what we need to do. So it's just it's actually kind of a cool thing about David. So he sees we have a problem with how to make Buzztouch easier, and so instead of doing training for getting people over the hump, he just makes it easier to get started with Buzztouch. So it'll make it better it'll be kind of a really nice thing for teachers, especially just because they'll get their kids making something fairly quickly. We have to do it still, but that's one of the reasons why we don't want to spend a lot of energy on training on the existing Buzztouch right now, because the way the core of how it works won't change, but there'll be a different product for people that don't want to actually get on the App Store and that sort of thing. That just want to make an app. There'll be a different.
But how?
Well, that's the secret.
With the secret new change, how do you want us to handle the contribute with educational and so forth? Because if that's going to change the whole way you do Buzztouch with the plugins and so forth, I don't really necessarily.
It doesn't change anything like that at all, Sherry. What it changes is how it changes the user experience dramatically, though. You know how I can tell you the biggest problem at Buzztouch right now, I would say, is that people come to Buzztouch. We get about 100 and close to 200 people register for Buzztouch every day. They give us their name and their email addresses. And then of those people, of those few hundred that register, only one or two actually stick with it and make an app. So we lose a lot of people on that front end. Now this doesn't change that we need to get people past that front end, but they'll get a little farther before they hit the wall. You know.
Why aren't they converting?
Pardon?
The retention of it. I mean, if 200 register a day, and you're only getting like 1% of them to follow through, where's that hurdle coming in?
Right. Well, that's the whole. It's so hard. Yeah. If you can't get Xcode installed or Eclipse installed, you know that's a big barrier right there. I mean, there's a lot. It's not easy to make an app. You know, when I found Buzztouch, I already had apps, so it was easier for me. I already had Xcode going. But if you don't have that, it's hard. It's hard.
And some people are just more visual too, so that connecting screens to menus, you can't really see that happening on the control panel. So you're like, what am I doing? What am I connecting? Where are these menus coming from?
Yeah.
Yeah, just like website design, do a site menu, and then link everything. Bam, there's your app.
But I mean, I suppose the massive advantage that Buzztouch has is that you get the source code. It's the only website I know that you get the source code. And that is probably the most valuable thing that an app developer can have, the source code. So if you don't get the source code, it's not an app to me. It's not my app if it's not my source code, or if I don't have the source code.
Yeah.
I couldn't agree more.
Yeah. So anyway, if that all works out, it should be fairly soon, and we'll have something kind of a new. There might not be the BTU. The whole thing might. Well, I think we still need it because it doesn't change how we make apps, but it changes how new users do things, right? So, anyway, okay, Nick, how do you think we should wrap this up? Oh, we have to talk about meeting time.
Yes.
What do you think?
Well, anyone have any thoughts? How did the time work for you? Is this okay?
Personally, for me, it's a little bit late.
Yeah, understandable.
Because it starts at 11 and then it finishes, and then now it's 1:15 midnight.
Yeah.
So, I mean, today is an exception because actually the only excuse that I get to stay up late is because I'm submitting the app.
Yeah.
So while that was uploading, I thought I may as well just log on. And then now it's in review already.
That's awesome.
What about you, Barry? What's your? Are you working in a school? Do you have a school schedule?
Well, yeah, kind of.
Oh no, I meant Barry Jones. Because he's on the West Coast, so he's the farthest one from you. That we have. Oh, Smug. We have Smug, of course, too, but then it's morning for Smug. So
for me, probably the best time is when we have those webinars. You know,
developer meeting.
Well, I mean, it's 9 p.m. for me. God knows what that translates for you, but basically 3 hours ago.
Yeah.
That's probably the best time for me. I'm not sure what that is in other time zones, and of course, I don't just want to make it good for just me, if you see what I mean.
Yeah, I was trying to schedule after the U.S. school day is what I was trying to do. So that's 3 p.m. in California. It's so that I don't know if they're even home from school by 3 p.m. But if we did it at that time, it'd be 1 p.m. in California. I think we might lose some teachers.
Right, I see.
What do you think? People that are teachers and the teachers, Nick and Barry and.
It also depends, I guess, on their commitments too after school and when they finish. I mean, for me right now, it's. Sorry?
If they're coaching, they're still not done with school.
That's it. That too. That goes with their after-school commitments. But for me personally, at when we started this meeting at 6 p.m. Eastern time, for me it's no problem. I could go 5 p.m. Eastern time. I could go 4 p.m. Eastern time myself. I think 4 p.m. is okay. 5 would be even better. So even maybe an hour before. But it also depends on the West Coast, and it's not easy.
We got this guy in the UK too. He's trying to teach a class next semester. I mean, he's trying to build a class right now with Buzztouch. So he might be very valuable to us.
Who?
Okay, well, we'll just talk about it offline and try to figure out what to do with time of day.
Yeah.
If you have any thoughts, you can send them to me or to Nick.
Who's running this UK thing?
This other guy, what's his name? John?
John.
No. Yeah.
Oh, John Rooney.
It could be.
I'll stop showing my screen so if I can.
Did he come to Buzz Day?
No, I don't think I knew him. I'm looking for his
Yeah,
name.
it's just because I know that a John who came to Buzz Day.
A teacher though?
Who is working with schools.
Jonathan Young is his name.
All right.
I forgot his
I'm
screen
just
name.
curious.
Oh, maybe RJ is his screen name, something like that.
Yeah.
So
I'm just curious because I'm in the UK as well.
yeah. So okay.
That's cool.
Anything else today, Nick, or should we just wrap this up for today?
I think we're okay to wrap it up. We discussed quite a bit in an hour and 15 minutes. A lot of ideas are floating around my head right now, and it's like, oh, let's bring them all back together.
Well, one thing I can do as a
That was
next
good.
step is Nick is maybe what I'll do is I'll take this list and try to put it into categories because there's a category of plugins that would be useful for education. There's a category of how do you creating a curriculum that could be used in the classroom. There's different categories of things. Like the tools for teachers could be another category of things like the scoreboard, things like that.
Yeah.
There's
So
like
teacher,
some
student.
categories, and then we can kind of. I'm not sure where this is going to go. It really depends on what people want to work on and what people are willing to do. And then it's possible, both Chris volunteered for this to be in this group. He couldn't come today, and David. So it's possible that I know David's just too busy in the short run, but he's got to work on stuff for Buzztouch. But it's possible that David could actually make something for us that was, once we knew what we wanted. We'll see what comes of it.
Is there like an estimated launch date? If it's going to be like mid 2014 or how soon is this all going to come together like
it's
really
already
good
here
format?
it's already here. It's what we are. We're a committee and we already meet, so it's launched today.
Yay.
It's an ongoing group. We don't know. We don't even have a specific. We barely have a mission, and we don't even have any goals yet. We don't even have. So it's hard to say. But I see what you're saying. It'd be good to have very specific goals, and that depends on resources and what people are willing to commit to.
And we brainstormed a lot of ideas. We're just gonna, list them and see where we're gonna tackle first and how we're gonna tackle it.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's start today.
Okay, good start. Thanks a lot, you guys. There's a lot of things we could do. Talk to you later.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Have a good one.
Please get some bed.
Yeah, good night.
Good night.